Ray.
Okay, well, we'd go out to Grandpa's farm, or especially the Jake Thesman's farm and Jake Voth. Those two were the outstanding ones because the men were good supervisors, and they had to get about 4 or 5 hogs, and they would go through there and butcher them and hang them one at a time. And then they would wash them down, and they'd have halves of it. And then when they got where the fat on the belly, they rendered all that fat on the big. That's the reason they made those. They fed them so they would be so fat, because they wanted that grease. And what they would do, they would grind it up with a grinder, and that was usually by hand. You know, you stick a piece in there and turn the.
Oh yeah, I've seen
a
those.
heavy duty one, but it was still a hand operating procedure, and they'd put that in that big pot, and they usually did it outside, and they had a kind of like a cross, and the boiler that they rendered it in was generally about a 10 or 15 gallon pot. And then that grease, as it got thin, they'd pour it off, and then it would get white, and they'd put it away. And what they did was, after the meats that they wanted to save, they poured those in the crock. They put all the meat in there, and then they poured that hot grease on top of it. And when it got hard, that was good for the winter. It stayed, it kept it. You wondered how a lot of people ate in the winter time without any, or fall or what have you. It was because their meat was encased in lard. Lard, heavy white lard.
And that preserved it.
That preserved it.
I'll be darned.
And now, what was left over from that was Grebbins. And the Grebbins was this, it's like the little brown things that come off of bacon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when they grind that and heat it, that's what you get down at the bottom of the barrel.
Oh.
And they would, a lot of times they would put some, they would add meat to it so that it got a flavor.
Oh, okay.
In other words, they would, it'd be like sausage, only it was Grebbins.
Right.
And they'd sell it by the pound from the nurse, wherever they were selling it. Very few places you could sell. They'd give it to you, but they couldn't buy it.
Yeah, yeah. So you just eat it like popcorn, or?
No. You
How do you
eat it for breakfast, like instead of bacon.
Breakfast. Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
And but it had such a nice flavor to it. And what Grandpa Thesman would do, he liked it with brown bread or Ruggebrot. And he would take that Ruggebrot and daub it up with all that, and then he'd sprinkle a little sugar on it, and then he'd eat it like that. I never did eat the sugar on it, but I could eat it very well with Ruggebrot. Good fresh Ruggebrot is hard to beat.
Yeah.
Especially to warm it just a little bit with some butter on it.
Very good.